Hi, today we're going to get started using the HDF5 library in C++. So this is a very useful database when you have a lot of either complex tables or multi-dimensional array. It doesn't have the relational aspect that something like SQL would, but it's very useful when you're outputting simulation data and when you know what the structure of the data is going to be. So the way to download it and build it is to download it from this source here is the first thing to do. So make sure you have curl installed. And so once that is downloaded, we can unzip it into this directory. And so if we go in there, we find that there is a build Unix script that you can run in order to build it. And that uses ctest, which is part of CMake. So you need to make sure that you have CMake installed with some reasonably recent version. So once you're in this folder, you can run the build Unix script, and then it's going to run a bunch of tests, and this is going to take a while. And after it's done, I should have timed it, but I will tell you how long it took for me. All right, never mind. It only took 178 seconds. So now that it's ran all of that, it's built some more stuff, and there's another script here to create the installation directory for Linux. So now we run that script, and it prompts us to accept a few things, and now it's successfully built, but it's a little bit buried. So it's in here. So in this HDF5 where is that folder? HDF5 Linux folder. Okay, so in this folder, in there we have the bin, include, lib, and share. So those are all important. The bin directory has some useful executables for interfacing with C++, like h5 dump. It doesn't have HDF which you have to install separately, which lets you view your data in a GUI. But the rest of these are also useful. So what's left is just to copy that to wherever you want to have your install location. So I'm going to put it somewhere on my system that I like. And then now that it's installed, we can write a script, a little program with it. And so instead of going through the API documentation, the better way to start out is to use the examples that they provide here in the source directory. So in this HDF5 112 C++ examples folder, there's a bunch of examples with different features. So the simplest one is this create.cpp, which creates a HDF5 file with one data set. But then there are other ones like how to create a data set of a certain size and then extend it with additional data, how to make data that's chunked, and other useful things. So now we move to a project that's going to use our installation. So that's the folder I have here. And so I've copied the create file from the examples, and that has you just include the library, and then make a matrix of data, so just 0 through 9s, and then create a data set with it, and specify this integer type, and then write it. So it's decently commented, all of the examples, so it's definitely the best place to start. And then to build it, we have this CMake list file. So we just define our project, and we're going to make an executable. We only have one source file, and so I created a variable with the installation location, and then make sure to include the header files from the HDF5 library, link to our and then also be able to link to the lib files, and we're going to want the libhdf5.so, which is the some C code, and then specifically the libhdf5 cpp so file. So you need both of these to use the C++ API. So we build it. So let's make a build directory and build our makefile, and then run the makefile. And so this create.x is our executable. So if we run it, oh, I've run this before, so let's delete the output. So if we run it in build create.x, that is going to create this single dataset.h5. And if we want to validate that this has what we expect, we can use one of the executables. So you should probably put this on path if you're going to be working with HDF5 a lot. But h5 dump will show us what's in here. And so we see we have our top level root group, and we have one data set. It's called int array. The data type is 32-bit integers, and it's 5 rows, 6 columns, and it has this data that we populated in the CPP file. And so that'll get you started writing out data into HDF5 format with C++.